Hi, hi everyone. This is G. Shanmuga from Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, and today we are here to discuss something about ND and YAG, YAG laser. Yeah, we'll get into the topic and we will discuss each and every part related to this topic. Now, in general, what is ND YAG laser? ND YAG laser. Neodymium doped yttrium aluminum garnet. This is the full form of this code. Is generally this NdYAG, and it is a crystal that is used as a lasing medium for solid state lasers. The dopant triply ionized neodymium ND3 typically replaces a small fraction 1% of yttrium ions in the host crystal structure of yttrium aluminum garnet YAG. Since the two ions are similar size, it is the neodymium neodymium ion which provides the lasing activity in the crystal. In the same fashion as red chromium ion in ruby lasers. This is the main function that happens in the formation of NdYAG laser. Now, the technology used in these NdYAG lasers are optically pumped using flash tube or laser diodes. These are one of the most common types of lasers and are used for many applications. NdYAG lasers typically emit light with a wavelength of 1064 nm. Now, in nanometer, nm in the sense nanometer, in the infrared rays. However, there are also transitions near to 946 or 11 1120, 1320, and 1440 nanometer. NdYAG lasers operate both pulsed and continuous mode, means in a continuous mode and in a breakable mode. Means it takes some regular in time interval for every emission. Now, pulsed ND-YAG lasers are typically operated in the so-called Q switching mode. Means these particular will operated only in a specified situation using Q switching mode. An optical switch is inserted in the laser cavity, waiting for a maximum population inversion in the neodymium ions before it opens. Means this inversion means inversion of population in the sense the electrons and the holes present in the semiconductor device. The semiconductor device itself is a laser, means which is caused for emission or the absorption of light or electricity. Yeah, then the light wave can run through the cavity, depopulating the excited laser medium at maximum population inversion. In this Q-switched mode, output output powers of 250 megawatts and pulse duration of 10 to 25 nanoseconds, means it's very less time, means it's a fraction of seconds, have been achieved. The high intensity pulses may be efficiently frequency doubled to generate laser light at 520 532 nanometers, or higher harmonics at 335 266 and 230 nanometers. NdYAG absorbs mostly in the bands between 730 and 760 and 790 to 820 nanometers. At low current densities, krypton flash lamps have higher output in those bands than do the more common xenon lamps. Means there will be a variation between the krypton flash lamps and xenon lamps, which produce more light at around 900 nanometer. Means it's very huge light quantity. The former are therefore more efficient for pumping NdYAG lasers. Yeah. The amount of neodymium dopant is the material varies around according to its use. For continuous wave output, the doping is significantly lower than for pulsed lasers. The lightly doped CW rods can be optically distinguished the by being less colored, almost white, while higher doped rods are pink purplish. Yeah, this is the major basic content about the NDYAG lasers. Now let's see the applications of the NDYAG lasers. Primarily, it can be used for medicine purposes. NDYAG lasers are used in ophthalmology to correct posterior capsular opacification after cataract surgery for peripheral iridotomy. The patients with chronic and acute angle closure glaucoma, where it has largely sup- superseded surgical iridectomy for the treatment of vitreous high floaters, for pan-retinal photocoagulation in the treatment of proliferative diabetic retinopathy, and to damage the retina in ophthalmology, animal research. Means these are heavily mostly used applications in the medical region. This will be very helpful for the patients by using NDYAG lasers. Now in dentistry is also a major application used by NDYAG dental lasers. These dental lasers have been used for removal of dental caries as an alternative to drill therapy, although evidence supporting its use is of low quality. They have also been used for soft tissue surgeries in the oral cavity, such as gingivectomy, periodontal, sulcular debridement, LANAP, and pulpotomy. NDYAG dental lasers have been also shown to be effective at treating and preventing dental hypersensitivity as an adjunct for periodontal instrumentation and for the treatment of recurrent ophthalmos stomatitis. Yeah, not only for the biological purposes, it can be used for industrial purpose also, like manufacturing. See, NDYAG lasers are also used in manufacturing for engraving, etching, or marking a variety of metals and plastics, or for metal surface enhancement process like laser peening. They are extensively used in manufacturing for cutting and welding steel, semiconductors and various alloys. For automotive applications, cutting and welding, the power levels are typically 1 to 5 kilowatts. Superalloy drilling for the gaseous turbine parts typically uses pulsed NDYAG lasers, and NDYAG lasers are also employed to make subsurface marking in transparent materials such as glass, acrylic glass. Lasers of up to 2 kilowatt are selective laser melting of metals in additive layer manufacturing in aerospace applications. They can be also drill cooling holes for enhancing airflow, heat exhaust efficiency. Yeah. Now the fourth use is fluid dynamics. Means it can also be used for fluid dynamics. NDYAG lasers can also be used for flow visualization techniques in fluid dynamics. For example, particle image velocimetry or laser induced fluorescence. These are two applications, major applications used in fluid dynamics using NDYAG lasers. Now it can also be used in biophysics. Yeah, NDYAG lasers are frequently used to build optical tweezers for biological applications. This is because NDYAG lasers mostly emit at a wavelength of 1064 nanometers. As I have said the wavelength produced by NDYAG lasers. This is the general wavelength produced by a NDYAG laser, 1064 nanometers. Biological samples have a low absorption coefficient at this wavelength, as biological samples are usually mostly made up of water. As such, using an biological samples are usually mostly made up of water. Means these biological substances partially absorb this wavelength of 1064 nanometers. Means these, because of these are biological substances are mostly made up of water. As such, using an NDYAG laser minimizes the damage to the biological sample being studied, even though it has very less ability to absorb the wavelength, but still it can be used because through this laser light there can be no damage to the biological equipment. Means biological sample being studied, means we can this is generally used for studying particular topic or a particular research, doing a particular research. And it can also be used for automotive. Means I let's take some example in a real time example. Here in researchers from Japan's National Institute of Natural Resources are developing laser igniters that use YAG chips to ignite fuel in a engine. This is a plan so that we can fuel the engine using YAG chips. See, in place of a spark plug. Means every engine starts with a small spark in the engine in any vehicle, but instead of using a spark plug, we can also use, this Japan's institute is trying to, means, create a new technology of starting a vehicle or an engine using YAG chips, which ignites particular wavelength through which it can be, we can produce a spark through which the engine may start. The lasers use several 800 picosecond long pulses to ignite the fuel. Ignite means, in the sense, it will just give a spark through which the fuel burns and the engine will be started, producing faster and more uniform ignition. The researchers say that such igniters could yield better performance and fuel economy with fewer harmful emissions. Means using of this NDYAG, this YAG chips, there may be less chances of harmful emissions or harmful emitting of gases. Okay. Now it can also be used in area. See, the NDYAG laser is most commonly used laser in laser designators and range, range finders. During the Iran Iraq, means this is a real time example I am giving you, especially for more understanding, means how it actually works, so that we can know the working ability of NDYH laser. See, during the Iran Iraq war, Iranian soldiers suffered more than 4,000 cases of laser eye injury caused by a variety of Iraqi sources, including tank range finders. The 1064 nanometers of NDYG is thought to be more dangerous as it is invisible and initial exposure is painless. Means this is a very easiest and smartest technique to defeat the opponents, through which we can get good results. See, the Chinese ZM-84 blinding laser weapon uses a laser of this type, though only 22 have been produced due to their prohibition by the Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons. North Korea is reported to have used one of these weapons against American helicopters in 2003. These are the real time examples through which we can understand how intensively the NDYAG laser works. Now, cavity ring down spectroscopy, CRDS. The NDYAG may be used in the application of cavity ring down spectroscopy, which is used to measure the concentration of some light absorbing substances. It's a general use, we can also use in the here also. And now in another one, laser induced breakdown spectroscopy, LIBS. A range of ND-YAG lasers are used in analysis of elements in the periodic table. Though the application by itself is fairly new and with respect to conventional methods such as XRF or ICB, It has proven to be less time consuming and cheaper option to test element concentrations. A high power ND-YAG laser is focused onto the sample surface to produce plasma light, from which the plasma is captured by spectrometers and the characteristic spectra of each element can be identified, allowing concentrations of elements in the sample to be measured. Yeah, we'll get another application of ND-YAG laser lights. See, ND-YAG lasers mainly via their second and third harmonic are widely used to excite dye lasers either in liquid or solid state. They are also used as pump sources, means they can also be used as pump sources for vibronically broadened solid state lasers such as CR4 plus YAG or via second harmonic pumping for pumping. And this is the end of today's lecture. Thank you. Hope you have a good idea. You got a good idea on ND YAG lasers. Thank you.